The Pyeongchang Games are South Korea's first Winter Olympics, but this is actually the second time the Olympics have been hosted in Korea. Some of you may remember the 1988 Olympics hosted in Seoul. There were major international security issues related to those Olympic Games, most notably the November 1987 bombing of a flight between Baghdad and Seoul by North Korean agents seeking to scare away international visitors from the Olympics. This time around, it seems as though the North Koreans are using the Olympics to ease regional tensions, at least temporarily, and improve ties with South Korea. While South Korea plans to showcase the country's economic power and modern infrastructure with the Pyeongchang Games, there have been widespread worries that tensions with North Korea could again undermine or even threaten the Olympics. My name is Brendan O'Reilly, and I'll be leading this webinar. I'm an Asia-Pacific regional analyst here at iJET, and I have over 9 years' experience living and working in the Asia-Pacific region. I'm fluent in Mandarin, and I know enough Bengali to get myself into or out of a bad situation. There are several key topics on the minds of businesses with personnel in the area, including transportation and personal safety, cybersecurity, and the regional strategic situation surrounding the Olympics. I spoke about the day-to-day logistics and personal safety in a separate video. You can find this video by visiting ijet.com/Olympics. In this session, I'll be focusing on regional geopolitics and what these developments mean for the Games. I think this area has garnered the most attention. The Games are taking place roughly 85 kilometers from the demilitarized zone. This puts them well within the range of a variety of North Korean weapons systems. And the map here shows the likely range of North Korea's missiles based on a test from August 2017. The red dots are major US military installations. In fact, North Korea's missile ranges may be even greater, although it's hard to know for sure whether they've mastered re-entry technology. Furthermore, North Korea certainly now has credible nuclear devices. Their most recent test on September 3rd had an estimated yield of 160 kilotons. What that means in practical terms is that North Korean weapons are about as powerful as the nuclear devices used by established powers such as Russia or the United States. We know for sure that North Korea also has long-range missiles, which can reach targets throughout East Asia and maybe could even hit the US mainland. What we don't know at the moment is whether they could put a nuclear device on one of their long-range missiles, but at any rate, their weapons capabilities could certainly put the Olympic venues within their range. However, just because North Korea could disrupt the Games doesn't mean that they will. North Korea has had the capability to wage a destructive war against South Korea for many decades. It's highly unlikely they would risk regime survival by starting a war, especially given the recent thawing in relations with South Korea. The North Korean government first and foremost wants to protect its own survival, so they are unlikely to begin a war that threatens their own existence. Starting early this year, North Korean and South Korean leaders began talks on North Korea participating in the Olympics. Since those talks began, the two countries have agreed to march under one flag for the Games. This is a very clear sign that regional tensions have eased, if temporarily. And as part of this regional easing, it appears North Korea will refrain from conducting missile or nuclear tests during the Games. And in response, North Korea has suspended its large-scale military drills with the US. North Korea has routinely blamed large-scale US-led military drills for increasing tensions on the Korean Peninsula. Now, interestingly, Russian and Chinese officials have long sought a freeze-for-freeze deal, wherein the US and South Korea would suspend their large-scale joint military drills in exchange for North Korea suspending its nuclear and missile tests. While the US has officially rejected these offers, it looks like the Olympic Games are effectively going to be conducted in a freeze-for-freeze regional environment, with North Korea suspending its nuclear and missile tests, while South Korea and the US suspend their large-scale military drills. It appears that North Korea, South Korea, and the United States want to significantly de-escalate regional tensions, at least for the duration of the Olympic Games. This gives everyone breathing room and a chance to reestablish contacts. Despite this apparent easing of regional tensions, the fundamental divergence of interests remains. North Korea wants to expand its nuclear and missile capabilities. South Korea and other important powers, most notably the United States and China, want North Korea to abandon its nuclear program. The United States has even indicated that it is willing to use military force to stop North Korea's nuclear ambitions, if needed. Now, while South Korea is an important U.S. ally and it hosts a significant U.S. military presence, South Korean leaders have warned against the U.S. attacking North Korea without their permission. Meanwhile, Chinese officials have stated that North Korea should give up its nuclear arsenal, but that disarmament must be done through negotiation rather than war. The current thawing in the deep regional tensions among North Korea, South Korea, and the United States and China are likely going to be temporary and may very well resurface after the Olympic Games. The US and South Korea have stated their intention to resume joint military exercises after the Olympics are over. North Korea may restart its nuclear and missile tests in response to those drills. With that said, the ongoing regional tensions do not indicate the likelihood of imminent war. North Korea is developing its nuclear and missile technology primarily to ensure regime survival. A full-scale conflict with the US could very well destroy their government, so the North Koreans don't want to start a war. Meanwhile, even with its overwhelming military superiority, the United States is also unlikely to start a conflict against a country with a credible nuclear deterrent like it appears North Korea probably has. All concerned powers would face tremendous problems from a conventional military conflict, and a nuclear war could be an existential threat, especially to North Korea. South Korean opposition may seek to stage major protests precisely with the intention of angering North Korea and damaging bilateral ties. In recent months, North Korea has tested several long-range missiles. Most notably, North Korea launched a Hwasong-15 into the Sea of Japan on November 29, 2017. Now, the missile only traveled about 950 kilometers, but it reached an altitude of over 4,500 kilometers. Many experts believe the missile could potentially reach the entirety of the United States mainland if it was fired in a standard trajectory. The threat posed by North Korean missile tests may create some minor flight disruptions. Since July 2017, Singapore Airlines has slightly modified its flights between Seoul and Los Angeles to avoid the potential re-entry path of a North Korean missile test. However, the likelihood of an accidental collision between a North Korean long-range missile and a commercial airline is small to negligible. After the Games, or in the event of increased tensions perhaps even during the Games, North Korea may resume its missile tests. North Korea will likely continue launching its long-range missiles to the east towards Japan. After the Games, or in the event of increased tensions, perhaps even during the Games, North Korea may resume its missile tests. North Korea will likely continue launching its long-range missiles to the east towards Japan. They are unlikely to risk damaging ties with Russia or China by launching missiles towards their territory. Meanwhile, a southbound missile test towards South Korea could be misinterpreted as an actual attack, which could initiate a full-scale war. If and when North Korea launches its missiles to the east again, they could overfly Japanese territory and set off alarms in Japanese cities. North Korean nuclear test is also possible during the Games. Though a nuclear test could raise regional tensions, it would be highly unlikely to directly disrupt the Olympic Games. North Korea has tested its nuclear devices underground, which limits the threat of widespread nuclear fallout. If North Korea conducted a large above-ground test, there could be regional impacts from radiation. Such a test would be more likely to spread radiation to northeast China or Russia's Far East rather than South Korea. In spite of this, the probability of an above-ground detonation remains very low. Besides nuclear and missile tests, there's also the outside possibility of a North Korean asymmetric attack on the Games. The advantages of these types of attacks are that they can cause disruption without sparking a full-scale war. North Korea remains capable of carrying out a variety of attacks that would be difficult to trace back to their government. North Korea understands that a conventional provocation would likely seem even more contentious during the Olympics, and the likelihood of such an incident appears low in the current climate. However, South Korean officials will remain vigilant for a potential attack from North Korea. As cyber crimes are an increasing threat, an attack might seek to paralyze media or financial networks in the South. In conclusion, it must again be stressed that we have seen no indicators that North Korea intends to raise regional tensions or disrupt the 2018 Pyeongchang Games. For now, it appears that the two Koreas and other relevant powers are intent on maintaining regional calm, at least for the duration of the Olympics. The main security concerns for most visitors to the 2018 Winter Olympics are likely to be petty crime rather than nuclear warfare. It is important for visitors to monitor the latest safety, transport, cybersecurity, and geopolitical dynamics in the country and region. Don't forget to check out our full Olympics coverage, including expert analysis of the transportation, cybersecurity, personal safety threats visitors may face while visiting the region. Here at iJET, we have eyes on the Korean Peninsula, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We are ready to make sure our clients are aware of the latest developments. Thanks for tuning in. Throughout the Olympics, we'll be sharing our daily intelligence insights and alerts on the ijet.com website. Follow along with the latest expert analysis by visiting ijet.com/Olympics. We're also taking questions over on Twitter. To have an analyst answer your Olympics-related question, tweet using the hashtag AskIJET.